Now that we have everything works here, let's just go back to the code and start writing some code about sign in and sign out and etc. So here we have the result. If you remember, there was a user underneath. So let's just quickly create that user anyway. Const user, or I will call it auth user. In this case, it will be, we have the user ID, which it will be in a result dot user, and it will be UID. I'll quickly do the rest. So if you remember, when we were trying to just coming back here, and I go to users, we were looking for email and username. Probably we don't need username because email should be unique, so I can get rid of this one. So we can delete it, and we can only work with the email, name, and photo, and then UID, which we're going to add it in a few seconds. So we don't need the username anymore because email is like the username. So we have the auth user. We can just call another one. For example, we can say call, because I don't want to write everything here, it would be very messy, so we can call auth handler or something like that, auth handler, and then we can pass the auth user here. So outside of this, then we can just come here and write about auth handler. Auth handler will be auth user. So we need to check if user exists in users collection. Then we need to, if yes, so nothing, just go to home page. Well, we can say if yes, just go to home page. If not, then we need to add the user to users collection and go to home page, for example. So let's do these things together. First thing first, we need to come and check if the user actually exists. We have already got a function fetch document from collection by field name. So I am going to utility, and this is the one we need. So I'm going to grab it and then bring it here. So we are going to import this function from lib utility. So let's just quickly use this one here. So we need to pass three things here. One of them is collection name, which is going to be users. The field name, which is going to be, so if you remember, we have UID. We're going to use this UID, and the value will be obviously auth user, which we are passing it here, and then auth user dot UID. So we are looking for any document with this UID. If it doesn't exist, we need to create it. So let's quickly check. Then let's say found user. So let's just come here and do these things. If the user exists, nothing. But if the user doesn't exist, we need to create that user. So let's just do this one first. So we can say, if you come back here, we are returning empty object. We need to check if we receive empty object, it means we couldn't find anything. So you need to say if found user dot constructor equals, well, first of all, if it is object, we also need to check the length. So I'm quickly going to change it to array, found user, then check the length. If it is 0, so now it means it's empty. It is an empty object. So we need to create it. I think it's capital O. So we need to create the user. All we need to do, we need to say firestore.collection. We are working with the users collection in this case. And then we're going to just add the auth user, nothing more. Yes. And when we add it, then we can just say go to the home page. So let's quickly say 10. And then if there is something, we can easily say created user. From there, we can say just router.push, go to home page. And we don't have the router. Let's just quickly bring it in. And I'll just bring it from here. Import router from next router. Let's just see what we did. We check for that user in the users collection. If it doesn't exist, we just come here, add it to the Firebase, add it to the Firestore in the collection users, and then go to the home page. And we also need to say if actually the user exists, which is in this section. So you're going to say else means the user exists, go to the home page. This is for this bit. Is not defined, so we need to see what is the problem now. Oh, of course, we forgot to just take this one out. That's why you're just complaining every second. And so we need to put this one out. There we go. Sorry, my mistake. And so now we have this one, we can test it. So let's test it together. I press login with a Google, and now we are logged in, and then you move us to the home page. So we should be able to use those authenticated user. We should check if the user is already authenticated, do a few things. For example, in this case, we don't need to see this one anymore, and then we should see the logout. So which we're going to fix it in the next video.